Question number 2, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statements in the House yesterday?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes, and in particular my statement quoting Michael Cullen from 2005 when the current disclosure rules were being developed, and I quote, "The government has sought to develop policy that works for all concerned, once that enables New Zealand to cooperate with other tax jurisdictions while not disrupting the legitimate financial transactions of foreign trusts."
Order, 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 order. If the member wants to take a supplementary, I'm happy that he rises and does so, but that level of barrage is not acceptable.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. In light of that answer and returning to matters of relevance, why won't he give an apology to the Red Cross, Amnesty International and Greenpeace following his failed attempt yesterday to divert attention away from his support for the grubby foreign trust tax-dodging industry?
Order.
Speaker,
the question's been asked. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, because what I said yesterday is factually correct. If you go into the database, Speaker, it's quite simple. A very quick search of Greenpeace International shows you that it is a beneficiary of the Exodus Trust. What this actually goes to prove, Mr Speaker, what it goes to prove is that all of the names of innocent New Zealanders that have been dragged across the TV sets and sullied by members of this House, all because they unwittingly end up on this database, should be taken with a grain of salt by other New Zealanders.
Supplementary.
Order.
Supplementary.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Was it appropriate of him as Prime Minister to attack an MP over her family trust in the UK, which allows her to stay in her grandmother's house?
Order. 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 The question is, at this stage, a legitimate question. I need to hear it, so the level of interjection from my right-hand side will cease. Would the member like to start the question again?
I'm obliged, Mr Speaker. Was it appropriate of him as Prime Minister to attack an MP over her family trust in the UK, which allows her to stay in her grandmother's house, in his, once again, desperate effort to distract from mega-wealthy foreigners using New Zealand as a tax haven?
Speaker.
The Right Honourable Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
Far from attacking an MP, the point I was simply making is, A, it's in the member's pecuniary interest and has been stated in the media. B, it's a statement of fact that she is a beneficiary of a foreign trust. And C, the very reason that actually foreign trusts can operate legitimately is people use them all the time for legitimate reasons.
Order. Point of order, Matiria Turo.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Yesterday, my point of order, sir, is that the inaccuracy of the Prime Minister's statement that Mojo... Sir, it will take just a moment. The inaccuracy of the Prime Minister's statement was dealt with in a personal explanation yesterday by Mojo Mathers. As a result of her personal explanation, the Prime Minister is not entitled to restate that false accusation in this House. That is what the Speaker's ruling.
No, order. I don't need assistance. I listened very carefully to the answer from the Prime Minister, and at no stage did I think he stated anything that is not correct. He actually referred to a member's pecuniary interest. If the member involved feels she's been misrepresented, there's an appropriate place to go. But at this stage, there is nothing... Order. There is nothing that I can see incorrect in the answer that's been given by the Prime Minister.
Speaking to the point of order, sir.
I have dealt with that point of order.
I would just, point of order, sir, I'm seeking some clarification from you about
That's not
the
the point of a standing order or a point of order to seek clarification. I will give the member the benefit of the doubt.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. So, Speaker's ruling 1523 says that a member's personal explanation may not be debated or otherwise challenged in the House. So I would ask that, does that therefore mean that if a member in this House stands up and says that Mojo Mathers is the beneficiary of a foreign trust, that is a direct challenge to her personal statement as of yesterday and is not allowed in this House?
No. Order.
The point of order.
Order. Yes, the Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
I'm a little perplexed that the Greens have brought this issue up. I would have thought that it might have been discussed when the question was agreed between them and Labor this morning.
Order.
Point of order, sir.
No, I need... Order. 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 I'm on my feet. When the personal explanation was allowed yesterday, it was done by leave of the House. Mojo Mathis gave a personal explanation. It was not challenged in any way yesterday. The Prime Minister now is referring to a question from Andrew Little. I don't think in any way that breaches the personal explanation that was given yesterday by Mojo Mathis. If she thinks she's been misrepresented, her best course of action now is to study the Hansard very carefully and to use Standing Order 359 if it's necessary. Further questions?
Fresh point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Chris Hipkins.
Mr. Speaker, it is very important that members have the ability to raise points of order that are genuinely points of order. It's also particularly important that the Leader of the House, in his role, has the ability to raise points of order and has given some prominence in the point of order raising process. However, twice in 2 days, the Leader of the House has used that to raise points of order that are not points of order and, in fact, attacking members or the whole opposition. And I ask you to actually pay attention to that and ensure that that right of members to raise a point of order is not abused in that way.
No, I don't need any further assistance whatsoever. In regards to the point of order raised now by Mr Brownlee, I think there is a little bit of substance in the member's message. It was not order. It was not actually helpful to the order of the House the way it was asked. In regards to a suggestion the same thing happened yesterday, I certainly didn't detect it at the time, and I didn't detect it when I re-examined the Hansard last night. Further supplementary? Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why has he fallen back on his old tricks of deny, distract and demean those asking questions rather than focusing on cleaning up the foreign trust industry?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, firstly, the government has been dealing with the issue in a number of ways, and John Shewan's review is an important part of that, and the work we're doing on base minimisation is part of that. But, Mr. Speaker, for the last couple of nights, New Zealanders have been on TV, and their names have been there because they're in the database. Happen to be in the database along with a great many organisations like Greenpeace. And I think New Zealanders now will know if they go into that database and they type in a name and they see a name, they should take that with a high degree of scepticism that it's real.
That's right.
Supplementary.
Divert.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
If New Zealand isn't a tax haven, as he has been claiming, why is an online gambling magnate, Calvin Edward Eyre, who is on the run from US authorities for money laundering and tax evasion, able to use a New Zealand foreign trust to stash his assets?
The Right Honourable
Listen,
Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, I don't have those details, and IRD won't be able to. IRD won't be able to until they get all of the data, which has not been released yet by the investigative journalists. But if they do, they'll be able to look through that, and if that trust is true and the person's been established and established by someone who's covered under the anti-money laundering rules in New Zealand, Mr. Speaker, then it'll be quite clear because that person who has established it will have failed in their obligations. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it's not me that says New Zealand's not a tax haven. The OECD say that. And interesting, last night when I was watching News Hub, they went through asking the obvious question, was New Zealand number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11...
Order. No, the answer's now going on for
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
If there's more to come, don't worry.
Order. My last warning to David Bennett, if he interjects again. Order. If he interjects again through question time, he will be leaving the chamber for the balance of question time. Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If New Zealand isn't a tax haven, as he has been claiming, why was a French investor able to move his holding company from Luxembourg to New Zealand and then tell the French government he owed them no tax because he had paid the zero-rated tax rate in New Zealand?
The Right Honourable Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, the member makes the right point that there is mismatches around the world, and that's why New Zealand's working with the OECD. But when the member says, this is the whole problem, isn't it? When he says someone's moved something from Luxembourg, it's as if there should be a sort of hiss across the thing, and that's the whole point with the database. Because when I go into it, I see Greenpeace as a beneficiary of the Exodus Trust.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why doesn't he do what most New Zealanders expect of their Prime Minister? To protect our reputation rather than protecting the foreign trust industry and demeaning the people who want to clean it up.
The Right
Mr.
Honourable
Speaker,
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we have been absolutely protecting and defending New Zealand's reputation in a great many ways, including the automatic disclosure legislation which is before the House, the changes we've made to shell companies and the likes, the work we're doing with the OECD. If anyone is to blame for sullying New Zealand's reputation, it's people like Andrew Little and James Shaw, who on Saturday night were parading to the world that I was responsible for the Cook Islands because one of their mates wrote something when they knew it patently to be incorrect.
Order. Again, the answer is long enough. Order. Order. Question number 3.